What happens when one of Hollywood's biggest stars walks into what she thinks is a friendly interview, only to find herself under attack from a host with a personal vendetta? Today we're diving into the explosive confrontation that had everyone talking, where Margot Robbie faced off against Joy Behar in a battle that nobody saw coming. Before we get into this incredible story, make sure to hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments what you think really happened here. The atmosphere in the View studio was electric, as Margot Robbie settled into her chair, flashing that trademark smile that had charmed audiences worldwide. She was there to promote her latest film, expecting the usual softball questions about her acting process and upcoming projects. What she got instead was something entirely different. Joy Behar leaned forward with a look that immediately put Margot on edge. "So Margot, let's talk about your latest role. Some critics are saying you're just another pretty face who got lucky in Hollywood. How do you respond to that?" The question hit like a slap. Margot's smile faltered for just a moment before she composed herself. "Well, Joy, I think my body of work speaks for itself. I've been fortunate to work with incredible directors and tell meaningful stories." "Fortunate, right," Joy interrupted, her voice dripping with sarcasm. "Must be nice to have doors opened for you because of your looks rather than your talent." The other hosts shifted uncomfortably in their seats. This wasn't the direction anyone had expected the interview to take. Margot's publicist, standing just off camera, looked alarmed. "I'm sorry, but I think there might be some confusion," Margot said, trying to maintain her composure. "I've worked incredibly hard to get where I am. I trained at drama school, did independent films, worked my way up." Joy waved her hand dismissively. "Oh, please. Spare me the rags to riches story. We all know how this industry really works. Young, blonde, Australian. It's not exactly rocket science." "Joy, maybe we should." Whoopi started to interject, but Joy cut her off. "No. I think it's important we have honest conversations about privilege in Hollywood. Some people work their entire lives and never get the opportunities handed to them on a silver platter." Margot's jaw tightened. "Handed to me? Do you have any idea what I went through to get my first real role? The auditions? The rejections? Working multiple jobs just to survive in LA? Boo-hoo," Joy said mockingly. "Tell that to the thousands of talented actresses who never got a chance because they didn't fit the mold." The tension in the studio was palpable. Even the crew members were exchanging worried glances. This had gone far beyond a tough interview, into something personal and cruel. "You know what, Joy," Margot said, her Australian accent becoming more pronounced as her emotions rose. "I came here thinking this would be a respectful conversation about my work. Instead, you're attacking me personally based on assumptions." "Assumptions?" Joy laughed harshly. "It's called reality, sweetheart. Some of us have been in this business long enough to see how it really works. And some of us," Margot shot back, "have enough class to treat our guests with basic respect." The audience gasped. Joy's face flushed red. "Excuse me? Class? You want to talk about class? Let me tell you something about class. Little girl." "I'm not your little girl," Margot said firmly. "I'm a grown woman who's worked hard for everything she's achieved, and I don't have to sit here and listen to you tear me down for sport." Joy leaned back, a cruel smile playing on her lips. "Oh, so now you're the victim? That's rich. You come in here with your designer dress and perfect hair, representing everything that's wrong with Hollywood's beauty standards. And you want sympathy?" "I want respect," Margot said, her voice rising. "The same respect you'd show any other guest on this show." "Respect is earned," Joy snapped. "And frankly, I'm not impressed by someone whose biggest achievement is looking good in a bikini." The comment hung in the air like a bomb waiting to explode. Margot's face went white, then red with anger. "How dare you reduce my entire career to that? I've produced films. I've taken on challenging roles. I've worked with some of the most respected directors in the industry. All thanks to your looks," Joy persisted. Margot stood up abruptly, her chair scraping against the floor. You know what? I've heard enough. This isn't journalism. It's bullying. Sit down, Joy commanded. We're not finished here. Oh, we're definitely finished, Margot replied, her voice shaking with controlled fury. I won't be spoken to like this by anyone. Especially not by someone who's supposed to be a professional. Joy's eyes narrowed dangerously. Professional? You want to see professional? I've been doing this job since before you were born. Princess. I've interviewed world leaders, covered major stories, made a real difference. What have you done, besides play? Dress up for cameras. The insult was the final straw. Margot's composure finally cracked completely. You want to know what I've done? Margot's voice cut through the studio like a blade. I've conducted myself with dignity, something you clearly know nothing about. I've used my platform to highlight important stories, to produce films that matter, to create opportunities for other women in this industry. Joy scoffed. Oh, please, spare me the saint act. You're just another Hollywood hypocrite. Hypocrite? Margot's eyes blazed. You're sitting there preaching about women supporting women while you tear me apart on national television for absolutely no reason other than your own bitter jealousy. The accusation hit Joy like a physical blow. Her face contorted with rage. Jealous? Of you? Don't flatter yourself, honey. I was breaking barriers and making waves when you were still playing with dolls. And now you're tearing down women who are trying to do the same thing. Margot fired back. You want to talk about what's wrong with this industry? Look in the mirror. You're part of the problem. Whoopi tried desperately to regain control. Ladies, maybe we should take a breath and... No, Joy interrupted sharply. I'm tired of pretending that talentless pretty faces deserve the same respect as people who've actually earned their place. The studio audience was completely silent now, watching this train wreck unfold in real time. Margot's publicist was frantically gesturing from the side, but Margot was beyond caring about damage control. Talentless? Margot laughed bitterly. You want to talk about talent? At least I don't make a living by being nasty to people on television. At least I create something positive, instead of just tearing others down. Joy's voice rose to a near shriek. I've been in this business for decades. I've paid my dues. I've fought for every opportunity while girls like you just waltz in and take everything. Girls like me? Margot stepped closer to Joy's desk. You mean hardworking women who don't let bitter, washed up, has-beens intimidate them? The gasps from the audience were audible now. Joy shot to her feet, her face purple with fury. Washed up? Washed up? You little brat! I'll show you washed up. What are you going to do, Joy? Yell at me some more? That seems to be your only talent these days. Margot shot back, her composure completely gone now. My only talent? Joy's voice was venomous. I've won awards. I've made a difference. I've been relevant longer than you've been alive. Relevant? Margot laughed harshly. Is that what you call this? Attacking guests for no reason other than to feed your own ego? That's not relevant. That's pathetic. Joy slammed her hand on the desk. Don't you dare lecture me about relevance, you little nobody. You think one good movie makes you somebody? One good movie? Margot's voice was incredulous. You clearly haven't even bothered to research my work before ambushing me on your show. But why would you? Facts don't matter when you've already decided to hate someone, right? The other hosts were completely frozen, unsure how to handle this unprecedented meltdown. Security personnel were starting to move closer to the set. I don't hate you, Joy snarled. I just refuse to pretend you're something special when you're not. And I refuse to pretend you're a professional when you're clearly just a bitter old woman who can't stand seeing younger women succeed, Margot fired back. The comment sent Joy completely over the edge. Bitter old woman? Bitter old woman? You spoiled little princess. You have no idea what real work looks like. Real work? Margot's voice was rising to match Joy's volume. You mean like spending years training, taking acting classes, working terrible jobs to pay for headshots, getting rejected hundreds of times before finally getting a break? That kind of real work? Oh, boo-hoo, poor little rich girl had to work, Joy mocked. Try growing up poor and actually having to fight for everything. You don't know anything about my background, Margot said through gritted teeth. You're making assumptions based on nothing but your own prejudice. Prejudice? Joy was practically screaming now. The only prejudice here is against women who actually deserve their success. And who decides who deserves what? Margot demanded. You? Based on what criteria? Your personal bitterness level? Joy pointed a shaking finger at Margot. I've earned the right to have opinions about this industry. Having opinions is one thing, Margot shot back. Using your platform to attack innocent people is something else entirely. You're a bully with a microphone, nothing more. A bully? Joy's voice cracked with rage. I'm keeping it real. Someone has to call out the fake manufactured stars. Fake? Manufactured? Margot was shaking with anger now. You know what's fake? This whole setup. You brought me here under false pretenses just to humiliate me on television. That's not keeping it real. That's being cruel for entertainment. The audience was completely riveted, witnessing something they'd never seen before on daytime television. This had gone so far beyond a heated interview that even the cameramen weren't sure where to point their lenses. Cruel? Joy laughed maniacally. You want to see cruel? Cruel is watching deserving people get passed over for opportunities, while pretty faces get handed everything. Then maybe your problem is with the system, not with me personally, Margot said, her voice deadly quiet now. But that would require actual journalism, instead of just picking on guests. Joy's face was now a mask of pure hatred. Don't you dare question my journalism credentials. You, little. But before Joy could finish her sentence, Margot had heard enough. The final confrontation was about to explode in a way that would shock everyone in that studio. Don't you dare question my journalism credentials, you little nobody, Joy screamed. But Margot cut her off with a voice that could freeze fire. Nobody? Nobody. Margot's composure shattered completely. You want to call me a nobody? Fine. Let me tell you what this nobody thinks of your so-called journalism. You're a washed-up comedian who found a new career bullying people on daytime TV because actual comedy requires talent you clearly don't possess. The studio fell into stunned silence. Even the crew members stopped what they were doing. Joy's mouth fell open in shock. How dare you, Joy whispered, her voice shaking. How dare I what? Tell the truth? Margot stepped even closer. You want honesty, Joy? Here's some honesty. You're everything that's wrong with media today. You don't inform. You don't inspire. You just attack people for ratings. You're a parasite feeding off other people's success because you have nothing of your own to offer. Joy's face had gone from red to white. You can't talk to me like that. This is my show. Your show? Margot laughed coldly. This isn't journalism. It's not entertainment. It's not even good television. It's just a bitter woman having a public meltdown because she can't handle seeing other people succeed. I've succeeded plenty, Joy shrieked. I've been successful longer than you've been alive. Have you? Margot's voice was ice cold now. Because from where I'm standing, all I see is someone so insecure about their own irrelevance that they have to tear down guests to feel important. That's not success. That's desperation. Joy was trembling with rage. You think you can come into my studio and insult me? I came into your studio to do an interview, Margot replied sharply. You're the one who turned it into an attack. I'm just defending myself against a professional bully. Bully? Joy's voice cracked. I'm asking the hard questions that need to be asked. Hard questions? Margot's laugh was bitter. You haven't asked a single question about my work, my process, my projects, anything that would constitute actual journalism. You've done nothing but make personal attacks based on your own assumptions and prejudices. Whoopi finally found her voice. Maybe we should all just calm down and— No, Margot said firmly, not taking her eyes off Joy. I'm tired of people telling women to calm down when they're standing up for themselves. I'm tired of being told to smile and take abuse just to be polite. Joy was practically foaming at the mouth now. There it is again, Margot interrupted. More personal attacks. More assumptions. You don't know me. You don't know my story. You don't know anything about what I've been through or what I've worked for, but you feel entitled to judge me anyway. I know enough, Joy snarled. I know you represent everything shallow and fake about Hollywood, and you represent everything bitter and destructive about media, Margot shot back. At least I create something. At least I try to bring joy to people's lives. All you do is spread negativity and hate. Joy stood up so quickly her chair nearly fell over. Joy? You want to talk about joy? I bring truth to people's lives. I don't sugarcoat reality. Truth? Margot's voice was incredulous. What truth? That you're jealous of younger, more successful women? That you use your platform to bully people? That you're so insecure you have to tear others down to build yourself up? Because those are the only truths I'm seeing here. The accusation hit Joy like a physical blow. Her face contorted with pure rage. How dare you psychoanalyze me? You little brat. You know nothing about psychology. I know enough about basic human decency to recognize its absence, Margot replied coldly. And I know enough about professionalism to recognize when someone has completely abandoned it. Joy was shaking with fury now. Professional? You want professional? I've been a professional longer than you've been breathing. Then act like it, Margot demanded. Stop attacking your guests. Stop making everything about your own ego. Stop being a bully and try being a journalist for once. I am a journalist, Joy screamed at the top of her lungs. No, Margot said quietly, her voice cutting through Joy's hysteria like a knife. You're just a sad, bitter woman who peaked decades ago and can't handle the fact that the world moved on without her. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. Joy's face went completely white. The studio was so quiet you could hear a pin drop. I'm done here, Margot said, turning toward the exit. I came here in good faith to discuss my work. And instead, I was ambushed by a professional has-been who gets her kicks from attacking successful women. Don't you walk away from me, Joy screamed, her voice breaking. Don't you dare walk away. Margot turned back one final time, her voice deadly calm. And with that, she walked straight off the stage, leaving Joy standing there trembling with rage, her face twisted with fury and humiliation. The audience sat in stunned silence, having witnessed something unprecedented in daytime television history. The cameras kept rolling as Joy stood there, her mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water, completely undone by an encounter she had started but was powerless to finish. Security moved to escort Margot out, but she didn't need an escort. She walked out with her head held high, leaving behind a woman who had just learned that some people refuse to be victims. That's the story of how Margot Robbie dismantled Joy Behar so completely that it left everyone speechless. What did you think of how Margot handled herself in this impossible situation? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more behind-the-scenes stories that show what really happens when the cameras are rolling.